Hi you guys, this lesson is on adding integers. This is one of the most important things that you are going to learn in Math 7. Knowing how to add integers and subtract them is something that you will be using in every single math class that you take after this one. So with that said, please make sure that you have out your adding and subtracting integers notes guide, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, I have been teaching math for a long time, and the way that I like to explain adding integers to my students is by using money. Money seems to be something that most teenagers understand. So when you are faced with an addition problem and you encounter a positive integer, imagine the positive integer as money in your pocket. And money in your pocket is good. The way that you are going to know that it is a positive integer is if there is no sign in front of it, like a 5, or if there is an addition sign in front of it. So let's say we have 7 plus 5, okay? Both of these would be considered positive integers. So if there's no sign in front of it, we know that it's positive. And if there is an addition sign in front of it, we also know that it is a positive integer. So a positive integer is going to be money in your pocket. That is money that you have. So think about positive integers as having money. When you are faced with an addition problem and you encounter a negative integer, imagine the negative integer as money that you owe someone else. And it sure stinks to owe money. So the way that you are going to know if an integer is negative is you are going to see a negative sign in front of it, like this, -5. Or you may have a problem that's like this, 5 plus -6. So in both of these cases, this case and this case, the -5, that's a negative integer. And the -6, that is also a negative integer. And remember, negative integers is like owing money. Okay, so let's go ahead and try an adding integer problem. So when we look at this problem, 9 plus a -5, the 9 is a positive integer and the -5 is a negative integer. So the 9 is positive and money in your pocket. So the 9 is having money, okay? So you have 9. The 5 is negative and money that you owe someone else, okay? So when you look at this problem, before you even figure out your answer, I want you to decide if when you combine these two, are you going to end up having money or owing money? Okay, so if you have 9 and you owe 5, when you end up combining those, you know you're going to end up having money, right? You're going to end up in the positives. And then to figure out how much, you just take the 9 and you subtract the 5 and you get 4. So that means 9 plus a -5 equals a positive 4. Okay, let's go ahead and try another one. In this one, we have a -16, so the 16 is a negative integer, and we have a positive 8. Remember, the 8 is like having money, so you have 8, and the negative integer, that is owing money. So if you owe $16 and you have 8, when you look at this, I want you to first decide if when you combine these, if you're going to have or if you're going to owe. So if you owe 16 and you only have 8, when you combine those, you're going to owe. So that means your answer is going to be negative. And then to figure out how much you owe, you take the 16 and you subtract the 8 and you get 8. So a -16 plus 8 is a -8. Okay, let's look at another one. If you have a -14, that's a negative integer, and you have a -11, that's also a negative integer. Remember, having a negative integer, that is like owing money. So if you owe 14 and you owe another 11, think about if you're going to have or if you're going to owe when you combine these two. And if you owe and you owe, obviously when you combine those, you are going to owe. And to figure out how much you owe, you just take the 14 and you add it to the 11, and that gives you 25. Okay? So you would owe $25. Okay, so if you owe 14 and you owe 11, that is going to be owing 25. So a negative 14 plus a negative 11 is a negative 25. So remember that positive numbers, that's money in your pocket. That is having money. That's money you have. Negative numbers are money you owe someone else. That's money that you owe. And it just makes sense to use money because we all know how to handle money. So let's go ahead and try some of these. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the first one. On the first one, we have a negative integer, negative 4, and we have a positive integer, 8. And the very first thing that we want to do is we want to decide if in the end when we combine these, if we're going to have or if we're going to owe. So if you owe 4 and you have 8, when you combine those, you're going to end up having. So we know our answer is going to be positive. And then to figure out how much we have, we take the 8, we subtract the 4, and we get 4. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next one. You have a positive 22, and you're adding that to a negative 6. Remember, this would be having $22, and this would be owing 6. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to look at these two and decide if when you combine them, you're going to have or if you're going to owe. And having 22, that's bigger than owing 6. So when we combine these two, we're going to end up with a positive number. And then to figure out how much we're going to have after we pay back what we owe, we just take the 22 and we subtract 6 and we get 16. So our answer is positive 16. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next one. We have a negative integer 7, so that is owing $7. We also have a negative integer 5. That is owing $5. So when we combine these two, if we owe and then we owe some more, obviously we're going to owe. So our answer is going to be negative. And then to figure out how much we owe, we take the 7, we add it to the 5, and we get 12. So negative 12, that's our answer. Okay, 4 plus negative 36. So if we only have $4 and we owe $36, we owe way more than we have. So when we combine those two, we are going to owe, and to figure out how much, we just take the 36, we subtract the 4, and we get 32. Okay, let's look at the next example. Negative 40 plus 70. So if you owe 40, because that's a negative integer, and you have 70, okay, you have more than you owe, right? So when we combine these two, we know our answer is going to be positive, and to figure out how much, we just take the 70, we subtract 40, and we get 30. Okay, and then the last example, we have a negative 33, and we have a we have a negative 33, and we're adding that to a negative 50. So if you owe $33 and you owe another $50, obviously when you combine those, you're going to owe, and 33 plus 50 is 83. Okay, so now it is time for you to practice adding integers on your own. I want you to grab this practice sheet. It says find each sum. If you are doing school online, you can print that out from the PDF link. So I want you to practice these. Okay, so you're going to push pause. You're going to practice all of these, and then you're going to push play, and you are going to correct your own. And then you're going to come back and show me that you have this done before you move on to your next assignment. Okay, so now one more thing I want to tell you. Obviously, you could not pause, and you could just keep watching the video, and you could just copy down the answers. But that is not going to help you learn. Okay, so please please make sure that you're practicing these on your own. That's the only way that you're going to know if you know how to do this or not. So push pause, do the problems, then push play, then correct yours, okay? And then again, come show me, and you'll be ready to move on to the next assignment.